Fine. Good evening, guys. So in this session, so we are going to cover on the what are the different types of web apps and what are what is SDLC. Okay, so we'll be covering these two things today in this topic in this session. So before that, let us revise yesterday's sessions on what we discussed yesterday. So I'm just sharing my screen. So I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Yeah. So in yesterday's topic, we were discussing on what are the different types of mobile apps are available. So just we'll revise that one. So first mobile application is the native application. So what is native application? The application which are developed for specific programming language using specific for specific platform using their own IDE, that is integrated development environment. We call it as a native application. So how native application works? So assume that the application has been developed by the developer here. Okay, so either on Android or iOS. So this app will be developed using the native code, that is the native code. Okay, it will be developed using the native code or a native programming language. This will be developed in specific IDE, that is integrated development environment. So for Android they will use Java or Kotlin to develop the native code. So and they will be developing in Android Studio. For iOS they'll be using the Objective-C or Swift language and it will be developed using Xcode. So this is about the native applications. So what are the benefits of native application? The application will be very fast and reliable, and it provides a rich user experience. And the second advantage is it provides easy access to the device hardware features like camera, calendar, okay, sensors, like that. It provides a easy access. And the disadvantage of the native application is the development cost is more because it relies on their own programming language. So if a developer wants to develop the application on multiple platforms like iOS separate and Android separate, so they need to develop the application on both the things, so they require more cost and time to develop on each specific platforms. So this is about the native application. So coming to web application, so this web applications are the device neutral and it's a mobile friendly website which will be developed by using a web technologies like HTML5, CSS3 and JavaScript. So by using these technologies they will be developing the web application. Coming to hybrid apps, these applications are almost similar to native. It's a combination of native and web applications where the native content is binded with the web technology and it is again binded with the native shell container. So the application is developed using the web technology and binded with native shell container, So this we call it as an hybrid application. It's a combination of native and the web application. So then we have another application called cross-platform application. So this cross-platform application tells about the aura, means write once run anywhere, where this has been developed by using the shared code. This entire this part of the business logic part, domain part, data access part, service access part will be developed using a single programming language, either it is on a JavaScript or a C#. So this will be binded with this will be binded with the native codes. It will be binded with the native codes to develop the UI layer, So this we call it as a cross-platform application. So around 20 to 40% of the native code will be used to develop the native content will be used for developing the UI, and remaining the service code, the business logic codes, and everything will be developed using JavaScript or C#. So this is about the cross-platform application which we discussed yesterday. So some of the frameworks, so these are the some of the frameworks which we use for developing the cross-platform applications. So there are so many frameworks like Apache Cordova, Adobe PhoneGap, and Framework 7, Apache Wix, NativeScript, React Native, and Xamarin and Flutter. So these are some of the frameworks where they use to develop the application. So there is one more application called Progressive Web Apps. So it is the so how it has been developed means, if you go with a native application, so you need to go to Play Store, you need to search for the application, and you need to download it and install it. But progressive application works very differently. So just you need to get inside the Google Chrome browser, enter the URL, and convert that URL into mobile app, and you can start using it. So this we discussed yesterday. So we discussed about the types of mobile applications in our previous session. So in today's session we are going to learn on what are the different types of web designs are available. So web designs are available. So there are 4 different types of web designs. Okay, so let us see what are the web designs. First one is the static web design, liquid or fluid, adaptive, and the fourth one is the responsive. So these are the 4 different types of web designs available in the websites. So what this static, liquid, adaptive, and responsive, so we'll see it practically. So for this you can just go to one of the website called, so this is the website. Okay, you can note down about the website here. So I'm just pinging out this website here. Okay, so so in this website you can see that so we are into the adaptive screen. Okay, so you can, so this is the adaptive screen. See, when it is in the adaptive screen, when you restore the browser, so what adaptive means? Adaptive is a characterized by having defined layouts for different resolution. Within each layout, resizing the window does not change the layout. Okay, so adaptive is a characterized by having defined layouts for different resolution. Within each layout, resizing the window does not change the layout. So what it means, see, I'm in the full screen of the web application website. I'm in the full screen of the website. Now if I just observe carefully, see, this is the full screen. See, I'm just making to restore it. So you can see the content, what is happening here. So you need to use the vertical bar to see the remaining content here in the adaptive thing. But if we go for another one, that is for liquid, so we'll go for liquid. So in liquid, what will happen? By restoring it, see, the contents get overlaps here. So by restoring it, the contents get overlap. We can see it's getting overlapped over here on the margins and everything. So it is like floating. It will be like a floating content. So what is meant by liquid or fluid? It is a characterized by scaling the width of parts of the design relative to the window. It tends to fail when the window is much smaller for much larger than it was originally designed for. So it will start floating, the contents of the application gets floating when the design is in fluid state, when the design is in fluid state. So this is about the fluid or the liquid. Static. So when you are using this static web applications, when you are using the static application, so static layouts are the traditional web one design that sits in the center of the page and requires horizontal scrolling if the window is too small for it. That is, M dot sites. M dot sites are the traditional answer to providing the only separated site for lower resolution and all the work for creating a separate site. So just imagine, see here, the static content is here. Now restoring the window, see I'm restoring it. So you cannot see the horizontal scroll bar now, you cannot see the horizontal scroll bar, but see, by restoring the window I'm getting the horizontal scroll bar. Horizontal scroll bar is getting enabled. So the layout doesn't get changed. If you want to see that particular content, you need to use the horizontal scroll bar to look into that. So the perfect example of the static website is the Gmail. Okay, Gmail. So there is one more application that is called responsive. So most of the applications will be developed either on the responsive or adaptive only. So mobile web applications will be developed most on responsive or adaptive. So responsive, when I take it as responsive, so if I use the responsive, so responsive is a characterized by having a defined layout for different resolution. Within each layout, the design is liquid and resizes the width of elements relative to changing window size. So in liquid, what happens? In liquid, the words were getting jump from the margins to margins, but in responsive it doesn't go like that. So according to the screen size, the layout gets changed. So the perfect example is if you have done Selenium or if you have used the element, right? See here, so you can look into responsive. So by changing the resolution, if I want the resolution, so based on that the resolution will be changed. See here, the layout doesn't get changed but the resolution gets changed. Okay, so the layouts doesn't get changed. So this is what the responsive application. So if I want to use on different devices, I can use the responsive device on the different devices as well. But adaptive, if I change it, it is a series of the static website, but responsive is a series of the liquid website. But most of the developers use responsive website to develop because it can easily stick on to the different screen resolutions. So that's why it will be the most of the developers will do responsive web application. So this is about the web application. So if you want more detail on this, just go to this website. So I've shared it in the link here, just go through that. So and just play with across that one, you will only get to know what is this responsive, what is this adaptive and everything. Okay, so this is about the web designs. So let us go to next topic. Let us go to next topic. MSDLC. So MSDLC means mobile software development lifecycle. So MSDLC is a mobile software development lifecycle. So usually in SDLC, how many phases are there? There are 7 phases. That is requirement collection, feasibility study, design, coding, testing, then installation and the maintenance. There are 7 different types of phases. But in MSDLC, in mobile software development lifecycle, we have only 5 phases. We are only having 5 phases to develop the mobile applications. When you go to games, there are 10 phases over there. There are 10 phases, GDLC. Okay, we call it as a GDLC, game development life cycle. So let us concentrate on the what is this MSDLC. So MSDLC consists of 5 different phases, that is inception phase, design phase, development phase, stabilization phase, and the deployment or distribution or maintenance phase. So in the inception phase, so in your regular SDLC there is a requirement collection phase. Requirement collection phase is nothing but the inception phase only. So in this inception phase, uh, let us so before that going to that one in depth, so we'll see how the MSDLC will be developed, so how the mobile software will be developed. So it will start with an idea. The idea will be prototyped. So based on the prototype, the features will be set. So based on this feature set, the UX design will happen, UX and UI designs will happen. From there the development starts, then the beta release will happen and the distribution will happen. So what is this requirement analysis or the inception phase? So in this inception phase, what will happen? The idea can be given by anybody in the company. So if I want to develop any application, that I can go and contact my seniors and tell that I have an idea on developing an application where this idea means this application will do something like this and everything. So he can give the idea. So based on the idea, okay, based on the idea will be converted into the solid requirement. The idea will be converted into solid requirement. So first a customer can give the idea, or developer can give the idea, or company business team can give an idea. So this idea will be interacted with the business analyst and the IT representatives, and they will come up with the solid requirement. So before doing this solid requirement for that particular idea, they need to check whether is there any similar application which is already in the market based on the idea. So assume that I need to develop one application. So I need to develop one application. So here is the customer. So you need to develop one application here. Okay. So I need to develop one application. So I can provide one idea. I can provide an idea to the company that I need to develop one application. So what application? So I need to develop an application, okay, like which is related to food delivery application. Assume that we are developing a food delivery application. So before developing the food delivery application, so the business analyst, okay, need to verify, okay, whether is there any application which is already into food delivery. Is there any application is already into food delivery? If it is there, what are the features they are using it? So what users are, what users wants in the market? So what we can develop? Okay, so what extra feature we can develop? So this all the things will be, or this all the things will be discussed before doing the solid requirement. before doing the solid requirement. So that is what competitive advantage. So in this competitive advantage, so we will be checking whether is there any similar application already in the market. If so, how does this application differentiate from others? Means if I want to develop one food delivery application, so what is the different I can give to the users? That will be discussed in this inception phase. Next is they will look into the infrastructure integration. So infrastructure integration means on mobile form factor. So what is this mobile form factor means? So they will discuss, okay fine, we are study with, okay we can give this all the things, or we can provide these features to the users and everything, but in which platform I need to develop the application? Should I develop on iOS? Should I develop on Android? Or should I make it as a m dot sites? Or should I involve as a responsive site? So this will be discussed in the infrastructure integration means, and what are the usage? Okay, this all the things will be discussed in the infrastructure integration. The next thing, what value can be provided? Okay, so what value can be provided to the users? Okay, how will they use these applications? So they will discuss about the value in the inception phase. The next thing is the mobility. Here they will think like, what are the technologies? So if I'm using, or if I want to develop the Android, okay, if I want to develop the Android, so should I develop a native app, or should I develop the hybrid app, or should I develop the cross-platform application, cross-platform? So this will be discussed over here. And what are the hardware integration, and what are the hardware integration required? What are the hardware integration required to develop this application? Should I require a camera? Should I require a GPS? Should I require the calendar? So this all the things will be discussed in the requirement analysis, that is the inception phase. So this, once it has been discussed with all this four thing, that is competitive advantage, infrastructure integration, value, and the form factor, the requirement document and the use case will be created. Okay, the requirement document and the use case will be created. Now once this inception phase is done, they will go to another phase, that is called as design phase. In your regular SDLC, there are two types of design. One is HLD and LLD in your SDLC, but in MSDLC we have two types of design, that is UX design and UI design. So this is into MSDLC. So there are two different designs, that is UX design and the UI design. So let us discuss about the UX. So UX means user experience. Once the idea is converted into solid requirement, the next step is to develop the UX. User experience means, here this UX will be done on wireframes. Okay, by wireframes, we call it as a wireframes. So there are different types of wireframes tools will be used by the developers. So there is a separate developers who will be working for UX and UI developers. So they will design based on the requirement which has been discussed in the inception phase. Now another design is UI, user interface. So we'll discuss about this UX design in depth now. So usually the UX will be like this. So you will not be having anything. You will not be having anything. So this whatever I'm showing is on the UX is based on the Yahoo web page. Okay, we'll come to the mobile app. Okay, Yahoo web page. So how the UX need to be there. Okay, this is just an rough diagram. Okay, so this has been done in by using the tool. But before going to this tool, they will create a skeleton sketch of the product. So how they will develop? So they will use either, okay, so they will use either this paint like this, they will use it, they will start writing it. So I want a login screen. Okay, so login screen consists of two links. One is I want to log in with my phone number, and or I need to log in with the Gmail ID. I need to log in with the Gmail ID. So this is how the UX. So first they will develop the like this. They will start writing it. So this is of login. So they will write it, they will just scribble it like this. Okay, so how you will be doing some drawings in your in the back of your notes, right? So you'll be sketching something like that. The same way, without using the tools, they will start sketching it, they will start writing it like this. Okay, this is one application. So this application will be like this. So this is of like this. The next screen, so the next screen is, so we can execute like this. So the next screen will come. So once user logins, it will opt for the OTP, it will opt for the OTP, it will opt for the OTP. So they will write it like this. So you can see here, so they have just written, it's an handwritten, it's an handwritten UX. It is a skeleton sketch, we call it as a skeleton sketch. So once this skeleton sketch is done, it will go for the approval. Once the approval is done, see some more skeleton sketches, I'm giving you the example here. So once the skeleton sketch is approved, this will be converted into the UX diagram by using the tool, by using the wireframe tool. See, neatly they will develop it like this. So title view should be like this. This is the text view, this is the text view, and whatever the crosses are there, right, in the whatever the crosses are there, so this is what the whatever the crosses are there, this is what the pictures. Okay, this is what the pictures. Now, so some more example by using the tool. So using this wireframe, see here you can see they have created a wireframe. It's a printed wireframes. So first splash screen will come, next this screen will come, next this screen will come. From here one screen will come. If already logged in, from this screen it will come. From here this screen will come. So they have integrated each and everything, how the application should run, how the application should run the business. So this is one of the wireframes. So you can see here mobile food order app concept. So introduction, main screen, restaurant menu, restaurant feedback, restaurant info, enter address, product info, my card, confirmation, and leave feedback. So this is one of the flow of the wireframe. So this will be integrated, but see, you cannot see any values or anything. Only you can see the cross things and everything. This cross things are left for the images. So this is how the wireframes will be developed. So wireframe for the web will be like this. Wireframe for the web will be like this. Now once the wireframe is been created, so once the wireframe is been created, this will be converted. They will take the approval. If any changes is there, they will do it. Then they will take an approval, then move on to mockups. Mockups or user interface. So what is this user interface? So user interface is a graphical representation. So once the UX is created, the next step is to create the UI design. The UI design phase is the graphical representation where the colors and everything will be added for the mockups or the wireframes. So where the colors will be added for the mockups or the wireframes. So you can see, so this is how it looks. So it came with the color now. Still you cannot access anything here. It's just an image. It is just an image with the design. So splash screen will come, tutorial will come, tutorial will come, tutorial will come, tutorial will come. Then the login will come. See, you can see Facebook login, notification message will come, home feed will come, splash screen will come. So welcome screen, again tutorial, social connect, calendars, event board. So this is how the UI will be developed. So this is how the UX and the UI will be there. So whatever you are seeing here, this is the mockups, and you can see there is a difference between the wireframe and the mockups. So you can tell it as an UI also. So this is the UX design, this is the UI design, UX and the UI design. So once the UX design is done and the UI design is done, we'll be going to development phase. So before that, let me ask you, is there any doubt till now? Okay, is everyone clear with this? Okay, so once this mockup is done, we'll be going to development phase. In this development phase, the coding will be developed based on the discussion which has happened in the inception phase on what platform we need to develop and everything. So in the inception phase only, in the inception only, it will be discussed about the feasibility study and everything. What is the requirement, how the application need to be developed, and how many developers we need to hire, how many test engineers we need to hire. Everything will be discussed in that inception phase only. So here the coding will happen. The coding will happen in two ways. One is the functionality requirements. For example, functionality requirement, if I click on login, the login page should open. That is the functionality requirement. But the coding will be done for the UI also here. The coding will be done for the UI requirements also. Okay, because it should function, right? So that will also be done. Now, once the coding is done, okay, once the coding is done, it will be given to the POC, proof of concept. So prototype, the prototype testing will start. So once the prototype testing is started, so if any changes, the code, they will change the code and they will redevelop whatever the changes is required. Then we'll be going to our phase, that is the testing phase. Here in this testing phase, we call it as a stabilization phase. So in this stage, the first prototype will be tested, then there will be alpha testing, then the beta testing. So release candidate testing. Before release candidate testing, one more testing, we will call it as a pre-production, or some companies they will call it as a beta testing also. Some companies will call it as a pre-production testing also. So first thing, while doing the development only, so we will get to know about the application, how it works based on the UI or based on the UX, how the application works. So based on that, we will be writing the test scenarios. So then parallelly the application will be developed. So once the one concept is developed, the developer will give for testing. So here you will do the prototype testing. So the app is still in the POC, proof of concept phase. Only the core functionality, for example login will work and add to cart will work, add to cart button will work. So some parts of the application will be working. So but there will be in prototype the full application will not be developed. Then will be doing one more testing called alpha testing. In this also only core functionality we will be testing it, but with some code completion. Okay, so here we cannot test it fully, only some major bugs which are present and in the major functionalities or critical functionality will be doing the testing in the alpha state. Coming to beta state or pre-production state, here almost the application is complete and ready to release, so we'll be doing one round of entire testing, that is pre-production or beta testing. So whatever the testing you are doing in your regular um, work, right, whatever the testing you do in the regular work, so that we call it as a beta testing or testing build. On the beta testing build will be doing, you will be working on the beta build only. So whenever a developer provides you, he will tell that this is the testing build or a beta build or a QA build, he will provide you. So once the beta testing is done, once all the defect has been stabilized, once all the defect has been fixed, so the application will be released to the production. Where you will be getting the application through either App Store or the Play Store. You will be getting an application through either through App Store or the Play Store. So there also you need to, once the application is released to production, then also you need to test the application, that is production testing or release candidate. Okay, so because there may be some code changes or there may be some functionality changes may happen while releasing to the production. So it is, or there may be some devices and some device specific issues may appear, so you need to test it on production also. So this covers the stabilization phase. So there are four different phases. There are under testing phase there are four types. One is prototype testing, alpha testing, beta testing, and the production testing. So prototype testing, where the application is not yet completely developed or not at all developed, only some major functions like login, add to cart, and checkout button will be developed, but there will be no integrations of other things and will happen. So that type of testing you will do either in prototype testing. So if any major defects are there, you will tell to developer, so developer fix that one. Yeah, so developer will fix that one. So then you will be going to alpha testing, means the core functionalities till the payment thing, it has been developed and the payment is also working and everything is fine. So that type of testing you will call it as a alpha testing. So before releasing the application to production, whatever you are testing it, we call it as a beta testing or pre-production testing. So once after the application is released to the market, we call it as a production testing or release candidate testing. So this is called as the stabilization phase. The next phase after stabilization phase is the distribution or the maintenance phase. So here the application will not be distributed to everyone in the world. Suppose if you take an WhatsApp example, so for WhatsApp you can become a beta test engineer. So you will get one update. For production people, they will get one update. So first the distribution will happen internally in the company. Okay, the app distribution will happen internally in the company. The company people will start testing the application. For example, I have a company. Okay, we are working in Test Yantra. So we are having two different the layers. Like one is on the one is on the people working in the client place, one is working in the in-house. So what we will do, we have developed the application, we will first give it to our in-house people who is working in our physical in our company. We will provide the application, so we will distribute the application to them. Only that people will get the application update. Now they will use the application for some days, they will send some feedback, this need to be changes and these are the some of the defects and everything, that will be updated. Now they will release one more application for the internal also and for the client people also. So again both will be testing, then they will release to some areas, regions like Bangalore, Mysore and Mumbai, Mumbai, Hyderabad. They will release the application for different regions. They will collect the feedbacks. So any changes need to be done, they will done. Then they will release to worldwide. That's why if you see, when you are going for the operating system updates also, first for some devices only you will get the updates, later for some devices it will be updated, for later on another updates will come, it will be released to everyone. So like that the application will be distributed. So this is about the distribution. So then coming to maintenance, so as you know, the maintenance in the production it will happen. So whether any updates, any physical defect is there or not, that will be done under the maintenance thing. So this covers the software development, mobile software development life cycle. So any questions on this MSDLC? Guys, any questions? Okay, cool. So let us see some interview questions based on the native applications and the mobile SDLC. So how to answer and everything. So I'll be explaining now on the different interview questions. So coming to the interview questions, so here, so they may ask you the question on what are the different types of mobile applications are available. So as you know, there are 5 different types of application. One is the native. You need to explain with the benefits and the drawbacks or advantage or disadvantage of native application. Web application, advantage and disadvantage of web application. Hybrid application, advantage and disadvantage of hybrid application. Then cross-platform application, advantage and disadvantage. And what is progressive application, web application, you just explain it. Okay, so this is the answer you need to provide for the what are the different types of mobile application. Next question, how can you tell that the application is native or hybrid or cross-platform? So yesterday somebody asked this question. So the answer is very clear. As a test engineer, you cannot tell until you get to know that on what technology they have developed. This is the first point. Second point is, as a test engineer, either the developer need to tell that in what type of application it is. That is the second one. So either you can answer 2 things, or else you can tell that blindly, you can tell that I was using this native application or hybrid application or cross-platform application where this it was mentioned in our requirement document. Here it was mentioned in the requirement document. So what do you mean by PWA, progressive web apps? You need to explain what is this progressive web apps and the concept how it works. So what is cross-platform application? You have to explain about the what is cross-platform application, the architecture of cross-platform application, and the advantage and the disadvantage of the cross-platform application. So, and what are the different types of web designs? You have to explain about the four different types of static, liquid, adaptive and responsive, and how it works also you need to explain it. Then the difference between native, web and hybrid. So note down this, the difference between the native, web and hybrid. So you need to talk about the this 5 points, this 5 points for each of the thing. So native, hybrid and web. So for the native, the development cost is high, and for hybrid, the commonly low cost, and the web, the lowest cost due to single code base. So for native, native code has wide access to device functionality, while content, structure and visual elements are also stored in the device memory, ready for instant use. So hybrid, slower than the native, as most of the data need to be fetched from web server, because it includes web and it's a combination of web and native. So, and for the web, the performance is slow based on the network connection. And for the native, the device feature, so native platform code has wide access to any device APIs, and for hybrid only some APIs are can be used in hybrid. And for web application, some device API based such as geolocations and everything can be used. And coming to the native user interface, it is like the user experience will be very nice, and compared to the hybrid and the web application. So for hybrid and web, so even if the UX where the application provides the like a native experience also, it depends on the network also, and the UX and the UX user experience also. So coming to maintenance and the updates, so it takes more time to develop for each platform, and for web there is no updates only. So whenever the content is updated, if you refresh it, you will get that content. But for hybrid, so based on the code changes and everything, the update will happen from the web server. So this 5 points you need to explain in the interview on the differences between the native, hybrid and web application. So coming to the next part, so next interview question on the basis of the MSDLC. So what is MSDLC? What are the different phases? What are the different phases available? Phases. So how are you getting the requirement? Requirements. So let me answer this two question. So what is MSDLC? So you need to explain the mobile software development life cycle, all the different phases you need to explain it. Then how are you getting the requirement? Very easy answer. You can tell two things here. I was getting a requirement, so I was getting a requirement. So don't tell all the answer, any one answer you need to tell. I was getting a requirement based on wireframes, where we need to write the test scenarios, by looking into wireframes. So second answer you can give it. I was getting a requirement UI designs. UI design, user interface design, or UI design. So I was getting a requirement through UI interactive design. So UI design, you have seen how it looks. This interactive design means in your childhood you have used flash players, right, for playing Kaun Banega Crorepati and everything, right? So when you click on this one, it used to tell that whether it's the right answer or not. The UI interactive designs is developed like that only. Suppose it will be given you, it's not having any codes and everything, it is just developed like a flash. When you click on login button, there the element doesn't work, but from that login it will navigate to login screen directly. From login it will navigate to login screen. If you want to go to cart screen, if you just click on the cart icon, it will open the cart icon. So it will be interacting based on the mouse. Where you click the mouse, it will interact based on that. So this is called UI interactive, so that you will get to know the workflow, how it works before the development only. How the application works without any coding involved. You can see the application, that is called UI interactive designs. So these are the answer for that one. So out of these three you can tell any one answer. So how are you getting the requirement? So this is the answers, these are the answer. So based on this answer you can tell what are the any one answer you need to answer it. Okay, so any doubts here? So most of the question will not be asked. So most of the questions will be asked based on the how are you getting the requirement, what is the difference between native hybrid app, and the scenario based question. How can you tell you that whether it's an application is a native or a hybrid or a cross platform application? So you should tell the answers. So you should tell the answer based on that one. So I am having a question from Nitesh Gowda, like sir, is Miro board is a wireframe? So I need to check it out. Oh, Miro board, right? One second. I think it is not. I think so. No, I think so. No, it's not a UX or a wireframe. It's not a UX. It is just a like a Trello. It works. It works like a Trello. It's not. So let us see some wireframe tools here. So there is something called as mock flow. Okay, so you can so most of the developers goes to this sketch. Okay, sketch, and there is some Adobe XD, Figma, UX Paint, InVision, so Bulbs so these are some of the wireframe tool. So if you just go through that, see the sketch how it works. So they use us like this. These are the UX design wireframe tool. So if you see on different UX pin, see here. This is how the wireframe tools like that. But you will not be having any work, but the developer will give you. I will just show you quickly. I will show you one tool which we are using it for one of the application called Zeppelin. Okay, we are using for Zeppelin. So just immediately I will show this how the UI will be looking. So this is how the UI looks for me. So this is how it works. So I'm just going quickly, I don't want to show this. So this is how the things works here in the UX. Based on this we'll be verifying the application. Based on this we'll be verifying the application. Okay, so any questions you can ask me, any doubts related to any other thing you can ask me now. So today we are ending up this session. Okay, we are stopping this now. Okay, so any questions on these topics, let me know. So tomorrow we are going to cover on the what are the different types of mobile specific testings will be there. So and I'll show you practically how it works and everything. So what are the major concentration you have to do it while doing the mobile application testing. So tomorrow 2.5 hour sessions will be there. Maybe it go for 2.5 hours. So tomorrow we'll extend some more time on and we'll cover the mobile specific testing, and on Friday and Saturday we'll be covering on a tool called ADB. Some commands we'll execute it, so we'll look into that one. Okay, so that's it for today. So any questions you can ping me or you can ask me by unmuting it. Tomorrow. Yeah, so any questions guys? The expected outcome is you will be working on mobile application in future. So you should be knowing, right, what is this mobile application, how the application works and everything. So it is what are the different types of testing techniques you need to use it while testing the application. So that is the agenda of it. Yeah. Okay, fine guys then. So we'll end up this session. So tomorrow 7 o'clock we'll start with mobile specific testing. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good night.